data with the existing metadata in the scientific community. So based on that, the research analysis, all the statistic analysis is being done by this plagiarism checker, and they'll send you a report. That report should be above 85. If it is below 85, you need to rework on the paper. Every journal, I told you how you can publish a paper in a journal or in a conference is that they verify. Even if you, before sending it to any journal or a conference, you can check the plagiarism by yourself. So the first thing what you need to do is that you need to check the plagiarism of any paper you work on. So the plagiarism should be above 85. If the plagiarism report is below 85, the journal or the conference would send back your work. So you need to rework on the paper. So the true work, you should definitely cite the basic requirements. So the citation and all is very much important. You should cite the basic methodologies. Anything which is starting from the basic has to be cited in the paper. So when it is being cited in the reference article, it will not become a plagiarism error. If it is not found to be cited, it will become an error and your report and your score will get decreased. If it is less than 85, even if you get an 84 also, you need to rework on your paper. So strictly the plagiarism report score should be above 85 plus, and very reputed journals would even ask a higher score, and based on that only your paper gets published in a journal or in an international conference. And in some journals they follow through a peer reviewed authors or peer reviewed editors. What these editors will do is that they analyze your data with the existing data in that particular scientific community. So if your existing technology is being much lower and your technology is higher than the existing technology, definitely they'll take up your paper and it will be reviewed and it will be considered and they would publish it under free of cost. So the authenticity and the true work and the novel works only can be published in a paper.
I hope that answers your question, guys. So a lot of people, Utkar says, when plagiarism should be done? When should a plagiarism ideally be done? Check.
So a plagiarism should be done when you write a paper and you check it with your professor before sending it to the conference or a journal. It is good to take a plagiarism checker.
All right, so I think that answers your question. So guys, so far are you all with us? Are you very clear about what is being discussed so far? The impact factor, the manuscript, the abstract, the journals, how to go about the basic publications. Are you all clear? Shivani says yes, Abhilash says yes, Jaffin, perfect, says Balamurugan. So we do understand a lot of questions are there in your side. We'll take up these questions one by one. Now, Arjun has a very good question. Now we have a question called, but there are also survey papers which aren't really novel. Is it right? That's a question from, I missed out your name, but that's a question.
Yeah. So survey paper is nothing but you put up your ideas. What are the existing methods which has been available in comparison to write a survey paper itself. You will definitely, it's a common article. So it's not a work which is been you're doing. You can publish a survey paper, but it will not add that big advantage to your profile. A survey paper will tell you how strong you are there in a particular field. A survey paper is being done only once you analyze at least some 50 to 70 papers and then know what are the technologies which is being happening, and then only you can write a survey paper. A survey paper, there's nothing but technology or methods carried. You will tell the technique, different types of technique available in the scientific community and what are the advancements and what could be changed in that. That will tell you the survey paper. There's nothing new in the survey paper. So that will not be that big novel idea will not be available in the survey papers.
All right, so I think that pretty much answers the question. Arpit got raised a question. I'm planning to write my paper, but I'm also applying for fall 18. Will starting a research paper improve my profile? Arpit, because that's a good question. We rephrase that question. Ideally, students want to know how long would it take for publishing a research paper. A lot of people are going for fall 18, few people are going for fall 19. They want to know what is the timeline that will take to publish one particular research paper provided in a good journal. So from your opinion, what do you think would be the right timeline, Archana?
Okay, the timeline to publish any paper in a good journal will take from 3 months to 3 years. I mean 3 years or 2 years. And apart from that, what will happen is that if you're going for fall 18 and you wanted to publish any particular paper, in a journal or in a conference, what you need to do is that you should have started already writing a paper. By this time, you should have a plagiarism report. If not, the right thing you should do is that you need to publish it in an international conference. International conference will take only 6 months to do this process, not more than that. And in international conference, all maximum international conferences will be connected with an EC chair, which is an IEEE authorized one, and this IEEE will is been an accepted one for a master's. So if you have a paper which has been published in an IEEE conference, which will definitely be popped up in an IEEE Explorer, and if your work is really that great, that particular international conference editors itself will come in and take up your paper and publish it in a journal. So you can tell to the admission committee that your paper has been considered for international conference under IEEE domain, and apart from that, it is being approved by the editorial committee for publication in a journal. So that will definitely add an advantage for your profile, that you can do the publication of a paper in a shorter span through an international conference rather than a journal.
All right, so I hope that answers your question. Now, the next question I'm going to take up is, now we talked about international conference, we talked about journal as well, Archana. So from your experience, is it better to publish in a conference than a journal? What is that scenario like? Some people want to go only for conference. Can you answer that question?
Okay, for both journal and conference both are good, but journal, the most important thing you need to make a note of is that in journal the impact factor should be very good. If you don't have an impact factor and you just publish it, if at all it is a Scopus index journal and you start publishing it without having an impact factor, that will not be that great. If it is a Scopus index, it will be definitely a peer reviewed one, and apart from that, when there's no impact factor in that particular journal, then the importance given to that journal will be very, very minimal, since it's just a Scopus index. And apart from that, you can go for an international conference when the conference has a good tie-up with journals. The international conference website itself will clearly portray what are the journal tie-ups they have. So you can refer any international conference with Elsevier journal tie-up or Zymago or Scopus index journals, all that you can look into and start applying to the international conferences. And apart from that, it should have an IEEE accepted one. Every international conferences will often get an IEEE accepted one conferences. So you can publish a student who is passing out in an undergraduate can publish it in an international conference, and when it comes to a student who wants to go for masters and thesis, should publish in a very good impact factor journal, which is a highly recommended one.
All right. All right, so the next question is, ideally, see, there's always question, should I really publish a research paper? It involves a lot of effort, but I do want to go for top 10 universities. So what do you think, what kind of students should be ideally going for publishing papers? Should it be only PhD students or master students? Can you please answer this question?
Yeah, definitely. So the first thing is that any student who feel that their GPA is very less or their GRE is very less, they need to build up their profile. That's the first important factor. So to build up their profile, the GRE is the already factor which is being written. So in that case, you need to build your profile. In that case, you need to write a research paper. That place it will help you. And apart from that, after building your profile, you need to get a relevant internships, and after that you need to, if there's a chances, you can retake your GRE, and if at all you don't have chances to retake your GRE, you should definitely build your profile by writing up a paper.
All right. So ideally a combination of GRE and research paper, GP and research paper would do a good job for the students, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So how many guys today are actually aspiring for like top 50 universities in today's audience? How many guys are like that here? Now, Soumya says me, Palak says me, wow, a lot of me coming in. I'm pretty sure most of you people would be looking for a good GRE score as well as a research publication. So one thing that people want to know, I mentioned about a lot of websites, a lot of conferences right now, Archana. So can you tell me what are the important websites that students should keep track of? What are the things that they need to be looking at primarily? If you could answer that question, they can use this as reference when they start publishing research papers.
Yeah, the first basic thing is that you need to sign up into allconferencealerts.com and irindia.com, which is just a conference alert for you. Every conferences which is happening across the worldwide will pop up, will be popped up in these websites, and you can enter into these particular websites and find where the conferences are happening and how these conferences are being tied up with the journals. So that's the first thing. Once you get the allconferencealerts.com and irdindia.com, and based on this you can get an alert. And second thing is that how to do the standards for publications, or how will a journal accept. Everything will be given the basic. I'm just giving you an overview. This can be taken from www.ieee.org/publication standards. This will give you a basic requirement. What should a paper contain? What are the required formats? And apart from that, every journal will have a different requirement. So it will vary from one journal to the other journal. The IEEE one is a common format one, which is being maximum followed by maximum a good number of journals. So you can try into these websites.
So guys, have you got a chance to get all the links that Archana mentioned? We have put that in the slide. You can copy it or take a screenshot of it and then take it as well. Now, yes, Abhilash, Jafrin, Shivani have all said yes, yes, yes. All right. So guys, I also see a lot of questions coming in right now. We'll take up all these questions. But Archana, one more thing that students always want to know. Okay, I understand the websites that are there, but what do I look in the website? There's a lot of confusing information available. So what are the types of things that I need to look for when I'm about to publish a research paper?
Okay, the first thing is that when you look onto any international conference alert, first you need to see the location, where the conference is exactly happening. And the second thing is that in which particular field the conference is happening. The conference will not just happen in a broad name. So it will happen in a very clear, very specific domain, like international conferences in digital image processing, international conferences embedded systems and technology, international conferences nanotechnology and chip level advancement. All these very particular domains has to be clearly noted, and you need to see the names will vary. Every subject is an interdisciplinary subject. So what you need to do is that you need to get into the particular website of the international conference and see what are the allied subjects with these conferences focuses on. So if your particular field of interest lies in these conferences, you need to check immediately on the third thing is that who is the organizer. If that organizer is associated with an EC chair organizing committee or an IEEE organizing committee. And the fourth thing you need to see is that what are the journals connected with these conferences, and if those journals, does it have an impact factor. If let me tell you, there's some Elsevier journal. The Elsevier journal itself, there's a particular website, so you need to get into that particular website of that journal, and you need to see in every journal the impact factor which is being recently populated will be available on the right or left side corner of the journal's website itself. So after that, if you are a membership of any scientific society like biomaterials and instrumentation society or imaging society or electronic society, all this society will definitely help you to waive your registration fees. So all this information would be clearly mentioned in the conference websites itself. And IEEE is the place where you will get a common set of procedures requirement for the standard publications.
All right. So I hope that answers your question, guys. Let's go to the next question. So we're very clear about the information that you need to find out in your the website that you mentioned. And now I have a question. Abhilash has been asking this question. How much impact factor would be considered as a good impact factor? It's Abhilash's question.
Okay, impact factor, publishing a paper with an impact factor even 0.25 or 0.75, or you have 2 impact factor, 3 impact factor is also very good. So you have, it's not the matter of number of journals you publish. It is the matter of how much, what are the impact factors you publish it. Even you publish one paper in a journal which has an impact factor of 5 or 4 will definitely boost up your profile, and it will build in your H index or your citation index. Once that has been done, it will be definitely adding your advantage. So it starts from 0 to 2. So it will vary from the periodic sequence. So your paper is, if for example, let me tell you, if your paper is published in one particular journal during 2016 and the impact factor of that particular journal during that year was around 1.7, and the next year it is being decreased, means definitely your profile range also will decrease. So the value of the journal, that is what you need to do a statistical analysis before publishing any paper in any particular journal. So you need to see how long the standard is being maintained. So even if the journal is having 4 and previously it had some 1.5, it is not advisable to publish in that particular journal. So if there is some consistency, one is being continuously maintained for 3 or 4 years, you can publish your paper in that particular journal. So the consistency matters. The impact factor score maximum will be dependent based on the requirement of any particular journal.
All right, so I think that pretty much answers your question. Abdullah said, thank you so much. Now, based on this, so a lot of questions have come in right now. We're going to take up one by one. Achha, one important question I want to ask you is, see, apart from GRE, we all know GRE is one of the most important factors for getting admission from top universities. But how much the role does the research paper play when it comes to the application process?
Yeah, definitely. When it comes to a research publication, if at all, as I told you earlier, if you have a lesser GPA or lesser GRE score, your research paper can offset it. So that's the first prominent factor. So many students will not have a good GRE score. In that case, if they don't have any decent amount of publications or internships, you can start writing a research paper starting now itself. So that will definitely add an advantage to your profile. And next, coming to a GPA. Your GPA is the stage where it has been already done. You can't do anything about it, right? So after that, you can improve your profile. The profile building is the very major thing you need to focus right now. Once the profile building is done, that is by writing papers or through improving your internships, you can definitely, the admission process for any particular university will be definitely helpful.
All right, so I hope that answers your question, guys. Thank you so much, guys, for your wonderful reading. It's been a huge pleasure having you here. And Archana, thank you so much for your time. You have any message for the students?
Yeah, thank you guys a lot. I highly recommend you to take GRE rather than research publications. So focus on GRE, and then if you're not able to get in GRE, kindly retake it. And if you're still not able to do it, go for research publications.
All right, so thank you so much, Archana, for your words. It's been a huge pleasure having you here. And guys in the audience, it's been a huge pleasure interacting with each one of you. I hope you found the seminar informative. We have more and more seminars coming up. In fact, the next seminar at 8:30, we will be having a seminar on 60-day study guide on how to score 320 in GRE. I hope I'll see you there. We have more and more seminars coming up in the next few weeks. I hope I'll see you there. Until we see you there, this is Vishnu and Archana signing off. A very good evening and take care, guys.